all, thank you for existing. Right? Thank you all. As you know, I was born and raised here, and it's not, when I was growing up, it wasn't always synonymous to think about this area with democratic activism, but we're changing that now. That's right, it's changed right now. So thank you all so much for being here. I wanted to actually talk a little bit about my grandfather for a second, because there's some parallels that I've been seeing going on. My grandfather graduated from high school in 1929 when the stock market crashed, and college was not an option. In fact, for the next 10 years, he was going to spend his time just struggling to keep his head above water and feed his family. And as soon as it looked like they were trying to start to come out of that, the Second World War started. And he had to go off and he fought in the Pacific, and he was involved in some of the major battles of the Pacific War there. And I think about that generation a lot. And I think about they had to restore the American dream and stare down authoritarianism at home and abroad. Does this sound familiar? I mean, I think that's what we're being called to do now, is we have so much more at stake than politics in this election. It's so much more at stake than Democrats versus Republicans. We need to restore the American dream. And we do have to stare down the creeping authoritarianism that's going on here and abroad. And I think our best and our first opportunity to do that is 2018. And so we have to win this in 2018. So thank you all so much for being a part of that. As you have probably heard or seen about my story, I was born and raised here by a single mom who was a public school teacher. And we did not have a lot of money growing up, but I had a lot of support in this area. I went to great public schools here, had a pre-K that I went to for free, YMCA after-school kids program, and so many people who helped me out. And I know that's who we are here in North Texas. We believe in collective action. We believe that if somebody works hard and does the right thing, they should be able to become what they want to become. But that's not how we're being represented, is it? No. Absolutely not. And in a dangerous time like this, I think we need more than just a representative. We need a champion. And Pete Sessions is not that guy, to say the least, right? We need somebody who's going to fight for us. And Pete's not fighting for us when he votes to take health care away from 23 million people, including tens of thousands of people in this district, or when he votes to let Wall Street go back to playing around and getting involved in some of the things that caused the crash, that's caused the Great Recession, or when he votes against the Violence Against Women Act, or to defund Planned Parenthood, or against paid family leave. That's not who we are in this area. And I'll tell you what, you can't fight for us if you don't know us. I can't tell you, after every one of my events, somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, Colin, you know Pete Sessions lives in Florida, right?" I'm always like, I don't know, hey, I haven't looked into it, that's his deal, but I think what they're saying, there's something behind that, right? Whether he lives there or not, the idea that they're not being heard by their member of Congress, that they don't have someone who listens to them, or as Pete Sessions said so well at his town hall, we don't know how to listen, right? I always say there's very few times you can tell somebody, "Hey, you work for me," right? Well, your member of Congress does work for you. And he should be holding town halls, and he should be talking to us, and he should be explaining My commitment to all of you is that I will be the most successful member of Congress, accessible, not successful, but we'll add that too, accessible, a member of Congress in Congress. I want to have a monthly town hall. I want to use technology to open this up. I want this to be the people's seat. And if you've been following our campaign, you'll see that I want this campaign to be a model for how I want to be as a congressman, where I have an event every week. I have all kinds of, coffee with Colin. Every week we have 40 to 60 people come out, and it's been great. But part of that is because I want to hear from the people here. I want to take our temperature. I want to know what's on our minds. And I want to keep doing that in Congress. And so what do I want to do in Congress? Well, I have what I call an opportunity agenda. And it's very simple. And to me, it's all about restoring the American dream. And the first part about it is making sure that we have an economy here that works for everybody. I want this to be the best place in the country to start and grow a new business. I want us to make sure that we are taking care of our folks who are working on an hourly basis so they can have a living wage. If you work a full week's work here in North Texas, you should be able to take care of your family. But we also have some businesses here who have skilled labor needs that they can't fill and that we can help them out with. And I'm going to fight every day when I'm in Congress to get us to universal health care.
Yes. Yes.
I grew up with a lot of kids who didn't have health care. And for them, their options were the school nurse, or the emergency room. And we can't go back to those days, and we've got to close this gap of the folks who are uninsured now, and we have to stop, of course, this Frankenstein bill that they have going on right now in the Senate. Who knows what's in it, right? But we know it's horrible. And we know they're not following the democratic process either. This kind of closed door thing with a couple of guys, and I do mean guys in the male sense, in a room deciding what all of our healthcare is going to be. So we have to stop that. And I also want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support, as Secretary Castro was alluding, to train our kids for the jobs that are in the future, train our kids for the America that's coming. And I think we can do that first by getting to universal pre-K. I went to pre-K. My mom told me a story a couple weeks ago, some of you have heard this now, about when one day that she took me to pre-K when she knew I had chickenpox. Oh. She knew I did. And I was like, Mom, why would you do that? Why would you take me? Get these other kids sick or something. And she told me, well, Colin, I didn't have anywhere else to take you. She's a single mom. I'd missed a lot of, I'd been sick with a lot of earaches, and she'd missed a lot of work, and she had to take me. And so it's about helping our kids, helping develop their brains. For every $1 we invest in a pre-K, we get $16 back. But it's also an economic issue for the families who send their kids to pre-K, and we have to get to universal pre-K. I also want to make sure that, like I said, that we're training our folks for the jobs of the future. So I want to go back to introducing some vocational training in our high schools, in our community colleges, and I want to support good technical schools and support apprenticeship programs so that we can give people, if you graduate from high school in North Texas, I want you to have an avenue to take care of your family, even if it's not a 4-year degree. Woo! And I want to make community college free. And I think that getting an associate's degree is now in a lot of ways the equivalent of a high school diploma 50 years ago. And I think we have to make community college free and make it accessible for everybody. So that stepping stone can be there. And so how are we going to do this? How are we going to go about doing it? Well, I think sometimes when people hear, I played in the NFL for 5 years, I became a civil rights attorney, I worked for Secretary Castro in the Department of Housing and Urban Development. They think that I'm talented, but I'm not. I promise you, it's not that. I have always outworked everybody else. When I went to the NFL the first time I tried to make the team, I got cut. I was an undrafted free agent, and I came in and they said, Colin, you're thanks but no thanks. And they gave me literally bus money home. And I ended up back at the Town North YMCA sweeping floors. And when I went back again, I made sure that I was going to make the team that time, and I did for the next 4 years. But then I had to transition again to law school, and it wasn't easy for me after 5 years of being out to go to law school with a bunch of kids who I thought were already smarter than me. But I worked hard, and I put my head down, and I knew what I'd been through here in North Texas, and I knew who was relying on me, and I came out. And so I promise you this, both in this campaign and in Congress, nobody is going to outwork me. I will work every day for you. I will fight every day for you. I will give you everything I have. What we need now is to have an army of us come forward, and it'll start in rooms like this. Dozens of us going around, then getting hundreds of us going around, getting thousands of us going around. And before you know it, we will do something really special here in 2018. In the NFL, we always talked about that you create your own luck. And that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Donald Trump, as horrible as he has been, and as horrible as the Republicans in Congress who are supporting him have been, they've created an opportunity here in 2018. But now in the next 16 months that we have, we've got to do the hard work of preparing to take advantage of that opportunity. So we've got to get out there and we've got to register 15 to 20,000 new voters. We've got to knock on every door in this area. And I think with your help, we can definitely do that. Trust me, there's something special happening here in North Texas. Every night I talk to a new group that didn't exist before the election. And you all are a great example of this, of a group that has maybe existed previously, but you've blossomed into this fantastic thing. Last night I was with a group that was so upset on election night that they just thought that they had to organize in some way, and they brought me out to speak to them. The night before that I was speaking to Swing Left, which didn't exist. Indivisible, we talked to them, that didn't exist. There's so many groups, and a lot of them led by women, that have come forward and that are leading this resistance. So there's something special happening. And every week when we have a coffee with Colin, we have 40 to 60 people come out, however many months we are away, to get involved. So there's something special happening here. And I think that, like I said, if we can do the hard work together, making the change we want to see happen. Our former boss, President Obama, used to say, we are the change we've been waiting for. There's nobody else coming. It's got to be us. Wonder Woman doesn't exist, right? It's going to be us in rooms like this and in nights like this that changes literally the world. And so I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you so much for coming out. And together, we can do this. So thank you.